Hey, everybody. You're going to be listening to a special bonus edition with Kynn Tribble. This guy's awesome. We had a great time recording this. But I also want to tell everybody, give you an opportunity to come out Thursday night, which will be tomorrow night. You need to come out to Tribbles for the Odds and Ends tours with Justin Clyde Williams, Ziggy Pockets, Tyler Hatley, and a special guest to be determined or to be announced, which I know who this is, and it's going to be, trust me, this is really going to round out such an incredible evening. The whole Odds and Ends thing is for raising money or raising donations. Well, money's good too, for the homeless. So this is helping provide basic necessities, basic human necessities, jackets, coats, blankets, toiletry items, sanitary products for women, non-perishable foods, can openers, simple things, nail clippers, things that we take for granted. Let's get out there and help some folks that are less fortunate than us, and let's help provide them. I want to see as many of you awesome listeners as I can out there that night. We will actually be going live for this show. So, please tune in, share this, get it out there. This is doing a really good thing. And seriously, huge shout out to Kynn for taking this, because the bar that was previously going to take this, there were some hiccups. And Kynn is always awesome to step up and support local music and to support things that, causes that matter. So with that being said, thanks everybody. I want you guys to enjoy some kick-ass Musclefoot kicking into this. Big shout out to our buddies over there at Musclefoot. Stuart and the guys always are awesome, and they don't get promoted enough. Welcome everybody to Picks and Bones. This is a bonus edition. Today, I'm sitting down with Kynn Tribble. This guy he's done a lot. He's a veteran. Thank you for your service. I had to hit you with that one just because of, we talked about that yesterday.
Today's Golden Corral Day.
Today is Golden Corral Day. And, he's got a hell of a music venue, and he is doing so much to promote local music and to bring in bands that people would not hear, especially like Moonshine Wagon. Those guys, nobody else is going to get a chance to hear them outside of here. And this is some really great stuff. So we're just going to jump in. We're just going to have a conversation. And welcome to the show, Kynn.
What's up, man?
How the hell are you today?
Tired. It's Monday morning.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mondays are like the beginning of the weekend for me.
That's true. Because then the weekend's the rest of the week.
Yeah, because I work the whole weekend, and I also work Monday, too. So that's why it's like the weekend for me.
Kind of give everybody a little bit about your background.
Oh, man.
What brings you to this mecca, if you will?
Well, let's see. We've been here 3 years. So for 6 years before that, I was running an airsoft place or managing an airsoft place in Anderson for kids wanting to play war games, shoot each other, airsoft facility. There's actually way more to it than people think, but it's pretty much like paintball, but way more meal sim, I guess.
Yeah.
So I did that for 6 years, working with like 10 to 15-year-old was our main clientele, so pretty much running after school every day. And it's an awesome place. It's called Battle Cats. It's out in Anderson, and if you ever want to release some aggression, go out there. And you can just shoot your friends. You can shoot everybody you know legally, awesome. and then go home afterwards. But I did that. I learned a lot from the guy I worked for. He's a very smart businessman, and Chad Duncan. And I was getting to the point where I was wanting to do something for myself, and I've always had a passion for music. And this place happened to be up for sale, and so we bought out from the person before us, and then it's taken about 3 years to get to the point where we are now. So I mean, I was actually looking through my old Google pictures the other day, and I saw some of the pictures of the bar, and the backgrounds are just empty. The walls are empty.
Yeah.
The walls are bare. There's nothing. There's no personality, and it's just crazy to see where it's got.
Well, this place has got so much character.
But I mean, that's the short story of how I ended up here. But most of it would probably track back through my passion of music.
Well, let's go into that, because I mean, you're a musician yourself.
I don't claim to be a musician. I own some guitars.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of other people that would say that's a lie.
I own some guitars and basses, but if you tell me to play in the key of G, I'm going to look like you got horns growing out of your head. But I grew up Baptist. Had a strict fundamental Baptist family, and talking about this, I want everybody to understand. Like, I don't hold anything against my parents. That's what they felt growing up. That's what they felt was best for us, And our childhood was what it was, the strictness and everything. But I have a good relationship with my parents now and everything. But I just want to do a side note before I talk about it. So we actually moved down here when I was 1. There's 5 of us. I'm the middle child, and my parents moved down here to send us to Bob Jones. So I'm actually a Bob Jones student. Everybody always like, "What? You went to Bob Jones?" Like, "Yep." I'm the far example of what you can end up like as a Bob Jones student.
You're the poster child for what not to turn out like.
Right. But no, I mean, we weren't allowed to listen to secular music at all. I'm talking about like anything with a beat. Southern Baptists were sinful because they had drums.
Yeah.
So I was always we were always segregated from any kind of music whatsoever, except for like Mozart or sacred gospel. So I grew up like, instead of listening to radio music at night, I'd grow up listening to like Hellfire and Brimstone preaching when I'm falling asleep at night at like 6 years old.
Wow.
So I can't tell you how many times I got quote unquote saved when I was a kid because some Hellfire and Brimstone preacher would be like screaming at me while I'm going to sleep. So that was like my childhood.
You're having nightmares.
I'd fall asleep. Yeah.
I'm going to hell.
Every night I would. I'd be like, "Oh God, I'm going to hell. Wait, I was going to hell last night." So eventually it got to the point where we didn't have a TV until I was probably, I can't remember. I was a lot older by then, but my first introduction to music was we might have watched it at my grandma's house or something, but it was Lion King, and I heard Elton John singing, and then I started sneaking and listening to my radio at night, and I would like put my ear to it, and I lived down in the basement with my 2 brothers, and it was a room. It wasn't like we were locked in the basement, but I would sneak and listen to music at night, and I eventually found Elton John, and then that's what started getting me turned more toward it. And then, if I recall correctly, I think a girl I liked when I was in like 7th grade, somebody told me she liked Metallica, and I didn't know who Metallica was then. So I listened to them, and then instantly that was where I'd like turn from like whatever was on the radio to like the heavier, the thrash, the 80s thrash, Exodus, Testament,
the good stuff,
all that. And we didn't have Google then. You had to go like sneak off in the grocery store from your mom and read Revolver magazine to find out about stuff,
or sneak into a record store like Manifest used to be when that was a thing,
and hum the song that you heard to them.
Yeah,
try to get them to recognize it.
Yep,
it goes dun 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 dun.
Harvester of Sorrow.
And I used to sneak off from my parents. We would go to the jockey lot in Anderson.
Okay.
And you remember the guy over by the animals with the hubcaps, Alan?
Yeah.
That has all the CDs. He's still there. Looks the exact same as he did when I was a kid. But I would buy my CDs from him. And the first CD I ever bought, I remember, was a Jackal CD.
Nice.
And it was the self-titled one with where they're the dogs on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny now because the Worley brothers have been in here. All of their kids have played in here. We're selling Jesse's Liquor. Devil's Devil did a video for our 3-year anniversary for us. So it's been really cool to see, like, people that got me into music, like their family members, and just like a connection through the place. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. Well, and then, I mean, you're not just about the thrash and everything else these days.
No, man. As we get older, I always joke. We went and saw Slayer the other day.
Yeah, I saw.
And we were talking about how violent it was going to be, because the last time I saw him was Unholy Alliance in 2006 in Milwaukee. And when it started, we were sitting up in the seated section because I've had back surgery, Nine's had back surgery, and we're like, yeah, we're going to sit. Man, the floor section was super tame looking compared to what we thought it was going to be. And we were looking around. I was like, metal's got old, man.
Is it just that, or do you think that because there's so many younger people that are getting turned on to what we grew up on, you know, the Slayer and the Metallica, the Megadeth, the Testament, you know, all that, because I went to a show, this is a couple months ago. It was a younger crowd because it was a young band playing, and they do like punk and everything else. And I'm sitting there because I was interviewing, you know, the kids because it's a friend of mine's, you know, daughter that's in the band. And they start a pit, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is going to be all right. These guys, it was the lamest pit.
Yeah.
I told him, I looked at my wife and I said, okay, the old man's getting ready to get up there and blast every one of these little kids to oblivion.
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think we've all gotten older. So, I mean, even Unholy Alliance tour was like 13 years ago. That's a big difference in a body.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And, I mean, that was one of the most violent things I ever saw in my life. And, yeah, I think the kids are softer. I don't mean to be that old man, but they're softer. And the pits back in the day, man, you'd break something. You'd have clothes ripped.
You're bloody. You caught an elbow to the face.
But everybody was friendly, and they still pick you up. You get in there and take all that aggression out. But,
exactly.
But no, talking about, I'm not all about thrash now. No, I think as we all get older, I think the outlaw scene draws a lot of metalheads.
It does.
Man, like Abby the Spoon Lady and Chris Rodriguez. Chris, he's all into doing the 1920s blues and stuff like that now. And when they played in here, he'd start the Rain and Blood intro, and he used to play Ground Zero back in the day with his metal bands. The Steel City Jug Slammers is like a traditional jug band out of Alabama. All those boys are all thrash and old metalheads. The guy from Guat's from Moonshine Wagon, he's a hell of a metal drummer.
Yeah.
And he's got a metal band over in Europe.
I've listened to him.
So the genres kind of cross over in the lyrics, you know.
It really has. And then, you know, you've got the up-and-comings like the Tyler Childers and the Sturgill Simpsons and, you know,
Justin Clyde Williams.
Yeah. Justin Clyde Williams. He's just an entity unto himself.
One of my favorite people, man.
Mine
love
too.
That guy.
He is just,
I just love how he sounds like Rodney Carrington when he talks too.
He's
like, man, I was driving down the road, you know what I'm saying? We were sitting over here.
I've actually I'm rocking his Gummy Bear T-shirt today.
I had his hat somewhere. It's laying around here somewhere. I was wearing it this morning.
Justin Clyde Williams is definitely one of my favorite guys, not just because of his personality, but just talent-wise.
Oh, yeah. No,
that
man,
guy
I
has got
to him for days.
I mean, in his own stuff, his personal stuff, he writes phenomenally. If there's anybody else around here that deserves to be up on that big stage, it's him. And I would actually really put Parker Ford right there, right behind him.
Parker Ford's relatively newer to the scene too, and he's making good waves, man.
You know, he's been playing for about a year.
Could be because he's so young and handsome and striking. But
I think it is.
That's what it is.
And and his girlfriend Cody, who's his manager, is such a shark. She's just in there going, okay, no, you're not getting screwed over to play some music.
Man, me and him give each other a lot of shit, and it's funny because one of the first time he played in here, I get up on the mic and talk to the crowd a lot, make announcements, let people know what's going on. And he's one of those singers that have like a phobia of someone talking in his mic because he got sick one time. Mm-hmm. Man, I talked to his mic without asking him, and ever since then, that's been like our running joke. Because every time he comes in, I'm like, do I need to plug in a different mic? Do I need to, sterilize your mic? But no, Parker's a good dude, man.
And we've got a great music scene. I mean, you've got 7 Year Witch, you've got Black River Rebels, which those guys are blowing up.
Absolutely.
I mean, who am I missing here?
You got Silver Tongue.
Silver Tongue.
I mean, you even got some of the old school guys coming back these days. Gods of Mars are on the scene again. It's cool, man, because like I moved away in 2003, I think, to go live in L.A. And a music scene there, you don't even call it a music scene. It's just everything's either music or movies, you know?
Yeah.
And so there was all kinds of music out there. But when I left, Juggernaut was still at the top of their game. And I think Nauseous was either they were going then, Callous. You had all these different bands back then, Insidious Demise and all them. And then I moved back in like 2006, 2007, and there wasn't quite the scene for it. The bands were still around, but there was nowhere for you to go see them except all the way over in Spartanburg, Ground Zero, and like that's where we all grew up going, you know. Like,
yeah.
And God, everybody's got so many good memories of that place. And
if they can remember it.
Well, I was young then, so I remembered all mine because I didn't do illegal activities or underage drink, of course.
No, never.
But no, like Ground Zero always had like some of my best memories growing up are from there, and but so that was Spartanburg. Then over here in Greenville, you had the Handlebar and stuff, but then all that stuff started closing, and there was nowhere to see them, and it seemed like it turned over to like cover bands, and nothing against cover bands. I have them in here. I got some personal favorites, but there was no original. And then it just seems like in the past couple years, the Rebels have started to grow. Silver Tongues reinvented themselves with their new singer, and 7 years killing it. And it seems like people are actually interested in original music again, and that's why I give focus to original bands because. To be a cover band and come in here now, I need something unique from you. I need you to be a little different. I need you to be entertaining instead of what I call the dad bands. No offense to everybody, but when you come in and you wear your white New Balances and you tuck your collared shirt in and you just stand up there and play Skinnerd for the 7,000th goddamn time,
right? Are
you gonna do Skinnerd like entertaining? Are you gonna in
you're gonna make
place,
it your own?
Yeah, I mean in this place you got to like yell and cuss at the crowd almost to get them into it because they want rowdiness. They want rock and roll.
This
they
is
want
a tough crowd.
They want energy. But at the same time, it can be a very easy crowd because I'll look around, it could be a weeknight. We got 30 people in here watching somebody play acoustic guitar, but nobody will be shooting pool. Nobody will be watching TV. Every single person in here is sitting and watching the band. And
it's really kind of becoming, at least as far as some of the shows I've been to and everything, you've really almost established a listening room for some shows where, it's about that artist being able to come in here. People are being respectful because they're not shooting the pool and they're not, being overly rowdy because they give a damn about the guy playing.
Yeah. It has, man. Like people, we've even considered on some shows that they'll be so special. We've actually thought about maybe not the whole time, or at least like the first and second set, and then about the third set, be like, all right, no phones out. If you want to talk on your phone or something, or pull your phone out, go out back. Because sometimes you look around. I have to do a lot because I have to promote, take pictures, do live videos. But I look around and everybody's on their damn phones, and you're staring at what's happening in front of you through your screen, making sure that people that aren't even out here are seeing it.
Yeah.
And I know it's all part of promotions, putting it out there and everything, but sometimes I'm just like, you know what, if you want to see it, get down here. Come see it in person.
Exactly.
Tool's real big about that, not letting people film and stuff, and they'll let you pull them out like the last two songs or something.
Jack White does that. I've been to several Jack White shows, and they specifically tell you, and if he sees phones out, he'll stop, and he'll tell the crowd, listen, you're here to have a fucking experience, not to just be watching it, sharing it with somebody else who didn't want to come.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I see. Like, and I know that nowadays we got babysitters at home. You got to have your phone. When I'm away, I'm always having to text a bartender or something. But at the same time, like you can still get by because we did at one point.
Exactly.
At some point, you had to call my house and see if I was there to get a hold of me, and if I wasn't, oh well, we're not talking.
Yeah, and where was I going with this?
Aliens.
Hey, we could talk. Man, we could talk conspiracy and
We're
aliens
talking about the
too.
Mayans, I think, and aliens.
Yeah, we could do that as well. What is the Anunnaki?
I saw a meme the other day. It was talking about it was like what I think I look like when I'm telling people psychedelics will change the world. And it showed like Jesus. It was like what I really look like, and it was Charlie Day off of Always Sunny. And there's like he looks completely insane. It's about the same with aliens,
Right. Which you're a firm believer.
I am a firm believer.
We could dive into. We're talking.
You want to talk about aliens?
We could talk about aliens, man. We could talk about
Man,
big time conspiracy theories
if
too.
it ties back into like how I grew up religiously, going to Bob Jones, like you weren't allowed to talk about anything other than fundamental Christian.
Yeah.
And like you'd ask a question in Bible class, well, the Mormons, and then you ask a question, and they'd never have an answer for you, and then they tell you, well, you're just trying to find an excuse for your sin. You're like, no, I generally want to know about another culture. To me, if you want to be if they believe everything they believe and they want to be a light unto the world, you should know about other cultures and other religions.
Yeah.
The same goes into aliens. Like once I started dabbling into that and reading about it, like the chariots of the gods and all the ancient stuff and the texts and all that, that's when I was like, man, there's so much stuff in here none of us know about. Like, and to me, like I'm not atheist. I'm a Christian. I'm agnostic. Kind of, you don't know. You can't prove or disprove.
Yeah.
So to me, you got to have just as much faith to be an atheist. But at the same time, like you get all these people who, my relatives, different people that are very, very stout Christians, and you start talking about aliens, and they look at you like you're crazy. They're like,
True.
There's no way that could be going on. There's no way. I'm like, what? I mean, come on. Like you're believing in total faith. You can't.
Well, and even at that, and this is the point I want to make. It is what's crazier to think that to be so single-minded to think that we are the only other sentient, intelligent beings created in the whole universe.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Is
and to me, you gotta at least think and agree that life came from somewhere, like something. You can't blow up two rocks and create a being out of that.
Yeah, and it's also saying that dinosaurs didn't exist, which that's been proven.
Yeah, I mean, like there's so much out there, man. That's part of what this place is too. Like if you look on the walls, there's random alien art. There's my buddy Tiny. I got a ton of his art, and he always paints a little alien ship up in the paintings for me somewhere in the background. There'll always be like a little alien, or I like the bizarre and the unknown. We're actually thinking about naming our menu after like creatures like Sasquatch and Yeti and
love it,
Chupacabra and all that. I got my serial killer art all over the wall.
Yeah,
definitely.
I've noticed that. And we can actually let's take another turn. You've got kids.
Yep.
And since you're into that, you guys need to go back and watch. My kids and I used to do a YouTube show called Backyard Monster Hunting.
Oh, nice.
And we would literally go out in our backyard and we would hunt for the Kakalaki Chupacabra, the Crick Hopper. I mean, we had all these different ones, basically making fun. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Mountain Monsters.
Yeah.
We were basically doing a knockoff of that, a knockoff of a knockoff. But we had so much fun, and it's something that kids can enjoy because this is kids doing this. So, and I keep telling mine, I'm like, guys, I know you're older now, but we should totally do a revisited version, get some of your college friends and everybody, and let's just go out here and do this, just because I think it would be hilarious to have like the later years kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I love that kind of stuff, man. Like, what, cryptozoology or whatever.
Yeah.
That and the idea of aliens. And I just think there's so much out there that we choose to ignore.
Or that we just don't know.
And I think, honestly, I think the whole reason they've never hit us with aliens is because it would shatter everything. Religion is there to control people and keep them in line. And if aliens come out, there's going to be a lot of people questioning.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I think it would just shatter everyone's belief systems. They'd be like, okay, what else? What else is out there?
What else?
I'm not a flat earther, though.
Yeah.
I haven't gone that far yet.
what else are you telling me doesn't exist?
Exactly.
I mean, what's next? You going to say ghosts don't exist?
Are you telling me there's good local bands that play every weekend in the area that you can go see? Is this the kind of shit you're trying to feed me? Oh, man.
So what's your take on ghosts and hauntings and everything like that?
Man,
because I know you were big time into horror movies.
I've always been one of those people like, okay, let's explain this scientifically. But I had at my old house I lived at, I had a few experiences that was weird, and I looked the place up involving like footprints that were made out of water. And I mean, I swear to God, I came home and there were footprints of water on my floor.
Oh man, I've got some stories I can tell you.
And I checked the history of the house and talked to the landlord, and the place had been flooded twice, like over top of the refrigerator flooded.
Oh wow!
So I've had a few experiences that have made me think that they're maybe not a religious spirit world, but there is probably definitely another plane or dimension out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got an experience from when I was a kid. Well, several experiences when I was a kid and a couple as an adult. One as a kid, my grandfather, we lived in an old plantation house. That's what I grew up in. And there was a mirror in the upstairs bathroom. There was one of these huge mirrors that went over inset behind a double sink and all this other. He hated this thing. Thought it was horrible. Within a couple of weeks of his passing, that mirror shattered at 3 a.m. across the room, face up.
Wow.
And, I mean, to this day, you cannot tell me that wasn't my grandfather taking his revenge on that thing. Because he was like, he told my parents because he always hated that. But then science would have said, okay, if it were to fall, which, one, it's tucked in behind fixtures.
Right.
It had to have been physically lifted up and moved, that it would have gone face down.
Yeah.
No, this is across the room, 8 feet away, and dropped face up.
Yeah, no, that stuff's out there, man. I mean, I still, I guess, I still look at it as like, okay, let's explain it. Was it the wind? You know, was it this? Was it that? But sometimes stuff can't be explained. Same with like alien stuff. I all the ancient texts that are out there and stuff. I sound insane right now, but
well, no,
it's there, man. Like I know with like shows like Ancient Aliens, you got to watch it with thinking like, okay, they're making TV, you know. So obviously they're stretching some stuff. But if you step outside of that and actually research the stuff and look it up on your phone instead of sitting and arguing politics or something on Facebook, you'll discover some insane stuff that's out there that the unexplained, involving astronauts and reports they've had that have been like blacked out. You know, not allowed
flybys.
Flybys. Some of the flybys are crazy.
Yeah,
but
then that doesn't even get into Bermuda Triangle shit.
Switching gears to something else I want to make sure we touched on. Something we like to do here a lot at Tribbles is we work with charity a lot, and one of the main things we do is animal rescue. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that, like, pay attention when we do our animal rescue events. We do car shows, stuff like that. A lot of people in the business of people don't like all people because people always disappoint or will stab you in the back and stuff like this. Yep. But animals, man, even the ones that attack violently and stuff, it's all due to the way they were raised. Yeah. And it's all due to how they were brought up and how they were hooked to a tree and never let go and all that. My girlfriend, I call her my wife, we don't believe in the Christian version of marriage. So
we didn't for years, so I get
we did it one time each, and this time we were like, let's just hang out for a while. Yeah. But anyways, she's the one who opened my eyes to it the most. She's always been an animal person, worked at an animal shelter here in Anderson when I met her. And but some of the stories she'll tell you, the animals come in. Yesterday she was talking about how many she had to put to sleep, like day after day after day. So I just want to, any chance I get to tell people, man, like, don't shop for a dog. Don't go to a breeder. Don't go to those jockey lot breeders. There are breeders out there who only breed a breed like twice, and then they retire the mom, and they're purely to keep the bloodline alive. There are a few people who do it correctly, but 99.9% of the chance they're not. Money. They're after that money, and they'll breed that mama to death. And I can't tell you how many times we've seen dogs with, their teats hanging to the ground, and, they're probably only 3 years old. Yeah. And the mom is just ruined. So people use animals for selfish reasons, and I I always try to make sure people know how many animals are in the shelters. If anybody ever that's listening needs direction, we can point you to rescues we work with. Animal rescue is what brought us to do our first drag shows here. Have you been to one of them yet?
I've been out and been a part of one. Kind of
somewhere. Okay, you haven't been to the ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we were scared to do our first drag show. I used to work at a gay bar. Like, that shit don't bother me. I was in the Army once. Once you showered with 60 naked dudes, you're not homophobic at all.
Yeah. It's either that or you're completely the opposite.
Right. And so we hosted our first drag show with Queens to the Rescue, and all the queens volunteer, come down on their own time, and they raise a good amount of money for different. Normally, when Michelle does, she'll do a different rescue each time and kind of rotate between them all. So I've seen a lot of money raised for drag queens and the people that are not for drag queens, by drag queens for animals. And the people that will bitch about it and be like, "Oh, I ain't going to no drag show, this or that." They're the ones sitting at home doing nothing, or they're the ones actually with the animals tied to the trees and or buying from breeders and all that stuff.
One thing that I'm going to bring up, and we can dive a little deeper into it. One of the things,
I'm an open book. Let's go.
That truly, before I even met you, you got my complete respect for, was when one of our local towns was basically giving the finger to when they were opening up for drag queens to come raid the kids.
Oh yeah.
And you went out there, kind of did the big F you to that, well-known big city close to us.
Yeah.
And you got children's books. You invited all the drag queens and said, anybody want to bring their kids out here for this?
Oh, we ended up not doing an actual reading one, though, because it got to the point where the queens and we were worried about safety for the people attending.
Yeah.
So, but no, we definitely, I stand my ground on that. Drag. A lot of people don't understand drag it was created by back when they had like Shakespearean days and women weren't allowed on stage, so the men would dress in drag.
Exactly.
So the people that were sexist and bigots and all that hate it now are actually the ones who were the reason for it being created in the first place. So it's really ironic. But we get a lot of people that come out to them and locals that are like, it's not my thing. And because they know me and I tell them, I'm like, man, just come out. Just come out, hang out one time. And then they get them out and they're like, man, this was the best time ever. I'm so happy right now. This was awesome. I can't wait for the next one.
And how can you not be happy?
It's a performance.
It is.
There's telemarketing calls, probably Yelp. Yelp's trying to get me to advertise to them. I'm like, I don't want to bring in Yelp customers here.
This isn't a Yelp bar.
No, you were talking about, we should put that on the door. We are not a Yelp bar. You were talking about that earlier, giving the finger. That's actually, I think, what changed us entirely from where we were to where we are now. Because at first I didn't know what I was doing. I never ran a bar. Yeah. I bartended one time at the gay bar, and that was it. For a couple months. So we were trying to be a little classier, trying to be more professional. Try to draw in all these local people, all this stuff. And we had a bad review one time. I did a male review show in here at one of those traveling gigs, and we did one show. And we had this lady afterwards left me one review. It said it was 1 star. It said it was too smoky inside. You had to walk to the bar to get service, and the food was outside because we had a barbecue truck outside. And I gave her probably an 8 to 9 paragraph response, and it was a sarcastic ridden, just dripping with sarcasm review, and it went viral, man. People were sharing it everywhere. She deleted the review, and I tore her ass up, and then we nicknamed her Salty Susan. We probably sold a shit ton of those shots. People would still come in to order Salty Susans.
That's awesome.
And ever since then, there was a moment we changed, and we were just like, you know what? We're us. Fuck you. Fuck y'all. This is who we are. You don't like the place.
You don't have to come here.
Yeah, you don't have to come here. When people come in and, they try to be snobs and be those downtown people that are, just want to complain about everything. We're pretty much, we don't put up with it. We're just like, hey, man, there's the door. There's a lot of people in here right now that are having fun.
Yeah.
We don't need your bullshit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's another thing. I've never been out here where people weren't being respectful of everybody else. Everybody, it's this is a very, very accepting bar.
It is. It's It's what I try to explain to people. You'll have. I mean, you can have a gay guy in here. You can have a black guy in here. You can have some white rednecks in here. You can have an extremely liberal, extreme right. All of them in here hanging out together. And then I swear to you, I've seen it before. I'll get on Facebook on Monday and look, and there'll be 5 people fighting in the comment section at each other's throats. And the other day I commented, I said, "Do you realize all 5 of you were at Tribbles Friday night hanging out?"
Right.
And they were in there trying to just murder each other. But here, man, I can't even remember. I don't even think we've had a punch physically thrown in over a year, probably.
That's great.
And, you know, and when you have that many people in here partying, hanging out, having fun, the regulars are super accepting here. Like, they're proud of the place. So when people come in, like, I'll come in the afternoon, there'll be, you know, a little happy hour crowd sitting in here. And one of my regulars will be walking back in from out back with somebody, and they'll have been showing them the art out back and the graffiti. They're telling them about the events coming up, you know.
And see, that's awesome.
It is. Because we get people that stop in from the hotels up the road when they're on business, and truckers, and for Chris and Abby, we had people drive all the way down to a gas station in the middle of Piedmont from Ohio and Virginia. That we even got somebody on our reviews somewhere. They're from Scotland. They're like, "We follow you on Facebook. When we come to the U.S., this is the first place we're coming."
See, that's awesome. I mean, you can't ask for that because you want things to go viral.
We appreciate where it's gotten. People tell us all the time. They're like, "Y'all have done this, y'all have done that," but it really isn't just us. I did the decorating. That's about it. But everybody else pitches in. The bands. I mean, this is the only place I go to where I see so many band members on their days off here watching other bands.
Yeah.
Like the other day when we had Cody Fest, I had Fall of Empire, Accuser, and Barren Planet. I looked around, the entire audience was musicians, not just musicians. These are like all the old school, like Tony Pilot, Rodney Irvin, Dave Somerville, like all these people, like
Chief.
Been around. Yeah, Chief, all of them been around forever. Don Gilmer, all of them in here, and they're all here to see Cody and Fall of an Empire and them. So it gives me a little bit of pride to know where I came from growing up, and now all these guys I used to go see and stuff, you know, they're coming and enjoying what we've all got here together.
Well, that's somebody we would be remiss to not bring up Musclefoot.
Oh, man.
And Stewart and those guys.
Dude, Musclefoot is...
I mean, those guys are sick.
Oh, man. Did you catch the show in here that night?
Yes, I did.
Man, I just saw Stu the other day. It was Leanne's birthday up at Hall of Fame in Greenville. And I've got Piedmont Boys scheduled coming sometime in February. And I was trying to get Stu to open with Musclefoot. So I'm trying to twist his arm into
doing back-to-backs.
Yeah, man. Musclefoot, dude. It'd be an awesome show, I think, honestly, because outlawing the metal. And if anybody out there listening that has not listened to Musclefoot, look it up on Google. You can find the links to the music on there, or you can look on YouTube, Musclefoot Band.
Spotify.
Yeah. It is. I call it ZZ Top on acid with Ozzy singing. Like, it is. It's got those old chugging, that dun 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 dun.
And he sounds so much like Ozzy, like a young Ozzy.
I guess it would be fair to say he sounds like Zakk Wylde. Really.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of Zakk in him.
He's got that Black Label grit, too, as well.
And it sounds just like the music that's put out. So, like, what you listen to in the city, you come in, and that's exactly what you're hearing.
And, you know, we have such a trove of talent just in the tri-state area.
Yeah, we did a thing here, and we've been meaning to do another one. Gary Allen from Loud and Proud. We did a thing called Musician Appreciation Day. It was on a Sunday when we were closed. So everybody, it was BYOB. I didn't want my staff to work. We put a big kiddie pool out back. Everybody threw the beer in on ice. Everybody brought in a covered dish. And I think Scruggs said, he was like, "Tribble, how did you organize a covered dish rock and roll party?" But it was awesome because there was so much talent in this room, and we had all the people set up on stage and the band, and anybody could get up and jam. I mean, you had like Gary Sneed jamming with guys from 7 Year and Accuser, and then you had like Aaron Langford and Nikki over here singing Zeppelin, and it didn't always sound perfect because everybody was jumping in together, but nobody cared because it's all musicians.
Yeah, you're just having a good time.
They're not having to impress an audience, you know. You get up, but you hit a sour note, nobody gives a fuck. We're all hanging out.
Exactly. Well, and, you know, one of the other things that I want to bring up, too, is you do the homeless coat and sweater drive.
Yep. I was doing that in October, and now Justin Clyde's doing a thing for, I guess, the little things like toothbrushes,
yes,
water bottles,
the in and out,
right?
and it's
stuff
him
like
and Ziggy Pockets and Tyler Hatley,
and
special guest will be Parker Ford on that one. It's the 21st.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at my calendar. Is it? What did you say it was?
The 21st.
Thank you for letting me know because I don't know when my own shows are.
Well, I know because
I get dates wrong.
Since, it moved here because it wasn't originally here.
Yeah.
And it moved here, and
I'm glad we could be part of it. So
I brought that up and said, listen, you need, when there was another bar that is having some issues.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, this needs to move to Tribbles because you're going to get a better turnout, and this is your tribe.
I appreciate that.
These are the guys that are going to, do something about that. And actually, this show will be going live that night from here.
Hell yeah, man.
And we're going to, talk to all the guys.
I love learning about all the things going on at this place.
I know, right? I'm telling you about shit going on at your own bar.
I'm like, far out, man. But can I be part of this?
Yeah, man, we'd love to have you.
I mean, that's how it is here, though. Like, you'll have somebody filming. You'll have somebody doing stuff I didn't even know was happening. I'm just like, oh, cool. Carry on. There's the artists come out here and sell paintings behind the bar all the time, like on the weekends, and it helps some of these guys pay their rent sometimes,
And see, and that's awesome because you are opening up for artists. This isn't just a music venue. This just isn't a dive bar. You've become kind of a entertainment cultural mecca.
We tried to come up with a name for the people that hang out here, and but we always just kind of call it the Freak Show because like artists and musicians and everybody, we're all odd. Everybody's different, I mean, I got a mullet. So, I mean, and a beard that looks like I was in the Civil War. So,
you'll have that.
The people that don't fit in at the fancy corporate places, places. I mean, yesterday we went up Mitchell Mountain, took the kids up there, and we stopped at this little place that I remember it being like a art place for Native American stuff, and we stopped in there, and now it's turned into more like an Asheville like. There was like an oak table that was $7,000, and as soon as we turned the corner and saw that, I was like, "All right, kids, let's head back out." But some lady gave me a look, and I was looking exactly like me and my girl. We were wearing these hoodies, Some lady looked at it, I saw that look, and I was just like, "Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to be in here." So like, people like us, we need a place to hang out. We need people I think that's the other reason everybody connects here is because everybody wants to be here.
Yeah,
you don't come out to the middle of Piedmont on foot traffic.
No, you definitely don't. And word of mouth has helped grow.
It has, man. I really have been impressed because I know people be like, "Oh, you're not," but I mean, I'm an asshole. I am. Like I tell you exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
don't give a shit if you like it or not, and I still know how to say stuff professionally and smoother. But I will tell you what I'm thinking. So there's some people out there that don't like me. So
I think
being able to do this. Is have people have and we don't put up with shit here. You know, like if you get an argument, you're out the door. Like,
I think so many people put themselves in their own little bubble, and their bubble of righteousness, if you will, and they can't see beyond their own bullshit. So it's easier to go ahead and say, "Oh, this guy's an asshole," and because they don't want truth, they don't want somebody that's telling them the truth and say, "Hey, leave your bullshit outside the door. Once you walk inside here, everybody's equal."
Yeah, that's how it is, man. We're a business. We're not a daycare. We're not a sitter. I understand people drink too much sometimes, and they have to. And I pay for Ubers all the time to send people home. If somebody comes in, they say, "Hey, man, I walk over. You need a ride home. Let me make sure you get home safe." Absolutely, we'll get you home safe. But if you come in here and you and your girl arguing, or you show up here and then the other one shows up and y'all start fighting by the bar, arguing over your relationship problems, time to go. Like,
yeah,
people come out here. It's like watching football. Like when the NFL got all political and everything, a lot of people quit watching because you watch that to escape.
Yeah,
you come to this bar to escape from your troubles. You're here to hang out and have fun. If you want to have your troubles, go home. Where your troubles at?
Well, and you guys are growing too.
Yeah,
I know there's plans for the other side.
The expansion that we've been working on for 3 years. Everybody's always said, my timeline every time somebody asks 3 to 6 months. It's been 3 to 6
Well,
months
and
for
you'll
3
have
years.
that. Well, I mean, you've added food now, so
Yep.
I mean, that's
We got we're trying to push the food more now because we know the kitchen's coming. So once we get to that full kitchen, I want people to be used to it and everything. But we're doing pretty good with what we got. Do good old Southern food like fried bologna sandwiches and
you can't beat that.
ton of quesadillas, tacos every Thursday, BOGO tacos.
I've been out for Taco Thursdays.
Tacos are pretty good, man.
They
I think the reason people like them is because they taste kind of like schoolhouse tacos, but they have flavoring to them.
Yeah.
So it just reminds you of being at school. Like now, if I can just figure out how to make school pizza back there, take the beer boxes, put cheese on top of them,
Right.
and cook them. And
That's all you really need to do. A little, ketchup sauce.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like I guess everything I'm hearing, a big thing for us, and I know a lot of people say it's like, oh, it's a popularity scam for advertising. The Greenville News, best in the upstate. We were on the top 5, so that was a big deal for me because everything else was downtown corporate stuff.
Yeah.
So to be, of course, we didn't win because we didn't, just sheer numbers. But just to be in the top 5 and everywhere else was like downtown corporate, and doing way more volume than we're doing. So it meant a lot to me that everybody voted. And actually, I think when our name popped up there, everybody was like, wait a minute. This is a gas station in the middle of Piedmont. Like,
Right.
I get that all the time. People pull up here and they're like, man, I wasn't sure about coming in. They're like, I wasn't sure what I was pulling up to. But then when they come inside, it's like Alice in Wonderland, all the colors and the lights and everything.
Yep.
And
all the art.
yeah, and they're like, wow, this place is... I watch people walk around here forever, taking pictures and like reading stuff on the walls, looking at the walls.
I love the doll head with the eyes and everything.
I think Amy and Lewis Murphy gave that to me. Amy's they do a lot of classic cars and they collect a lot of vintage stuff, but she collects a lot of dolls. And she'll post pictures of her house, and it'll be like a bunch of dolls, or it'll be like a mannequin wearing a wedding dress. And
That's
I'm like,
creepy as
I'm like,
fuck.
how many like heads do you have in a jar in your fridge right now, Amy? I want to answer to that, by the way.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, they're great. I love them. They're the kind of people that fit in here. They don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
Like Lewis, her husband gets. I don't know if you know them or if you're friends with them on Facebook, but he
I
gets.
haven't met him.
If you're lucky, he's like Haley's Comet. You'll see his Facebook like once every 70 years, and then he'll get banned for another 70, and then he'll pop back up. But, yeah, man, we get a lot of the stuff in here has been donated. Like, people just bring stuff from home. They're like, oh, here, take this. You got voodoo masks hanging around here. I'm the new stage behind you where the kitchen is. Once we move to the other side, we're going to rip that out and put a stage here. I'm going to put a big giant white Ouija board on the ceiling. So when you take a picture of the band, that stuff will be up behind them.
That's killer.
But everything's got a story. Like that casket was used for, that was in a Black River Rebel video, a Piedmont Boy video. But yeah, everything's got a story. Like my buddy Justin Ashley out at Boulevard Inc. with Debo, he does all the graffiti out back. Tiny's done some in here. A-Rob, Wade Bowers from the Rebels, he's done some of the painting here. It's just a lot of art, a lot of stories behind it. Dylan painted all the serial killer stuff over there. So it's just a big collab of everybody. Everything's got a memory in here, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's where else are you going to go when you're going to see? This is almost a curiosities place.
Right. Yeah. No. I've described it that like a roadside attraction almost. It's where it's getting to. It's almost like Captain Spaulding's
Tutti
roadside
fucking
attraction.
fruity.
Yeah. That's when we should start serving Tutti fucking fruity.
You need to develop a Tutti Frutti shot.
We should.
And call it the Captain Spaulding in homage to him.
Maybe one day it'll be a big enough oddity my parents will actually come to the bar. They're not accepting of my business choice. But funny too, my brother makes movies. He's got a couple in Redbox. He's had them in Amazon Prime. He's got working with Warner Brothers on something now. So he's the same way. It's like the deep religious family. It's just kind of like the Tribble brothers don't have jobs.
Where did we go wrong?
Honestly, out of 5 of us kids, I believe only one of us goes to church. That's my little sister.
Really?
My little brother owns a pretty successful. He makes fancy staircases. And real. Actually, he worked. He did staircasing at the drummer from AC/DC's house. Lives up in North Carolina, apparently. And then my older sister, she's like a yoga instructor, but she's like crazy yoga where they can like stand. One person stand on one foot, and the other one's holding their hand, like one hand up in the air, doing a handstand kind of stuff. So,
well, you ever gonna open up out back for goat yoga then?
Man, actually, it's funny you mentioned goats. Betty, my girlfriend, we talked about fencing the rest of the property in back there because there's a huge dirt berm over there. There's a lot of natural fencing. And we talked about putting rescue goats out there and letting them out during the day, like when it's slow, and then at night, have like the secluded barn area and stuff they go to back there. So we've actually talked about putting goats back there.
That's awesome.
And have a goat cam where you can log on the website and watch the goats out there playing.
See, that's actually really cool. That goes right along with your message for animal rescue and everything else. And everybody who doesn't love seeing goats playing around.
Man, people that just
goats.
say animals in general, where they're like, "Oh, I don't like dogs," or "I don't like animals," like I instantly wonder about you.
Well, I work in a zoo. You have to love animals to do what I do.
What do you do?
I build all the exhibits and.
Oh hell, that's cool, man!
And do all that. So, I help with keepers with enrichment projects.
That's awesome, man.
And I've been in welding in our giraffe yard and literally had a giraffe come over, pull my welding helmet off, start licking my head, tugging on my welding jacket just so I would stop to scratch his jaws.
That's funny, man.
And then he goes off doing his own thing again.
Animals are awesome, man. Like we watch ours constantly. And which side note I mentioned earlier about animals and being dog friendly here. If you're listening and you want to bring your dogs here, make sure they're well behaved and you bring them on a leash. And there's nothing more aggravating than somebody brings a dog in and it's going buck wild, which sets all the other animals off.
Yep.
So just make sure you have control of your animals when you bring them in.
When you've got your little one that runs around here all the time.
That's Mr. Snacky Snack. He was supposed to be a foster. We were supposed to foster him for like a couple weeks, and somebody had dumped him up the road from us, and Betty ran over there and got him from him, and he never left. Everyone we've got never left.
Well, and he's got so much personality because it's like he'll watch the band for a minute, and then he's like, screw this, I'm going out here.
Sean K. Preston, when he was here, he peed on Corey, the bass player. He peed on the corner of his bass amp. Never done it before, never done it since.
And it was just
him in particular walked over and said, "Fuck this amp," peed and walked off, and I was mortified. I was like, man, if it hurt it, let me know. I'll pay for it. But no, Snacks is cool, man. He'll stand up on 2 legs. We got a voice for him. We got a voice for all our animals.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got 3 cats. I'm a cat guy, honestly, more than a dog guy, believe it or not. Like, I like cats because I think they, you don't have to spend time with them to train them anything. They'll come to you when they want love, and they'll leave. I don't have the patience to train dogs properly because I'm so ADD. Like, we've already talked about this interview. If somebody was reading the script, they'd be like, "Why are you jumping all over the place?"
Well, and
why the fuck are there aliens right here?
Well, and they're like, how do aliens tie into having a bar? And
if you've ever met my patrons, you would understand how aliens tie in. But
there's a couple of guys I've met in here at shows that I kind of wonder.
Man, there's quite a few people that I've met in here that you meet some characters here, man.
Well, and it's like you've got guys. I mean, I was sitting here one night. I can't even remember who was playing, and it's like you randomly strike up a conversation with somebody at the bar. And next thing you know, they're a Jersey pizza baker that was just in town for whatever reason, and they were like, "This just seemed like the place I needed to go to."
Yeah, man, I've had a lot of people get dropped off by Uber drivers, and people say, "I told the Uber driver I want to go to a cool bar," and they'll bring them all the way from downtown down here.
And see,
and that's cool, man. I had somebody bring some guys from Mexico and Brazil here. We had some guys from Miami walk in one night when we had a jug band in here. And that was when there were still cows across the road from us before they put the solar panels in. And, these guys walk in the middle of Piedmont in a gas station. There's a jug band up here playing a stick with a string on it. And they're from Miami, and we probably couldn't look any more like a stereotypical like backwoods hillbilly
redneck
bar. I try to keep track of some of the stories we've got from here because they're never like fights. That's the best part. You don't have to be like, "Wow, this guy punched this guy," but it's like I'll tell you a quick one. Probably my first memory where I was like, "Holy shit, welcome to Piedmont." It was early on in the bar, and I was still, I was here every single night, just trying to figure out what I'm doing. And I'm outside on the phone, and somebody walks out and said, "Tribble, I need you in here real quick." I walk in, and I look down at the end of the bar, and there's this two blonde ladies sitting down there, and they've been down there all night. But there was a younger guy over there beside one of them, and they were arguing. And I got a little closer. I was listening, and finally, I figured out. I think the lady was married, and this was her young lover, and she was cutting him off. And whatever she did, she wrecked that poor boy because he was not having it. And so I went over, and I was just like, "Hey, man, you gotta roll. It's time to go."
Yeah.
So he was like, we got to leave. I was like, "No, you specifically have to leave. They're fine. They haven't caused any problem. You got to go." So he takes off. The lady goes, "Will you go outside and make sure he's not doing anything to my car?" So I'm like, "Okay." So I walk outside, and we got a big parking lot. There's not really many places you can get boxed in, because of the grass and everything. But wherever she was, he had pulled up right behind her, so she couldn't back out. And I was walking toward the car, and he came around from the front of the car, jumped in his truck, and took off. So I was like, great. He's probably, broke a window or something. So I go over there, and I look, and this dude had flung a bag full of dildos, KY jelly, a 6-page breakup letter, and he had like a Myrtle Beach T-shirt with a male's ring, and the T-shirt was pulled through the ring like a napkin holder on a fancy table. And dude, I was dying laughing, and I still got the letter at home. Like I got a little box of stuff that people leave here that just odds and ends that people leave here. One day I'm gonna make a lamp and put it all inside the lamp.
There you go.
And but it was really funny because in the letter he was like real neat cursive writing. And looking at the guy, you wouldn't expect it. And then about the 4th page, halfway down, he goes mid-sentence, he goes all caps, print, shouting what he's saying. And then it goes it just goes right back into the cursive. Like he just had to get it out and he calmed down. But that day was when I was like, oh boy, what have I got into?
That's a classic, though. That is a classic.
I still have all the dildos. No, I'm just kidding.
They're in a graveyard out back. All right.
I gave them all to Justin Clyde.
Yeah.
Real quick before we move on, before we get sidetracked again, I do want to give big props to Gary Allen with Loud and Proud. He does all the sound for the big shows we have here. He's hung the speakers and all that. He's getting it more where we got in-house sound now. But he's done an awesome job at me and him both booked, but he's brought a bunch of bands that I never even heard of. Like this weekend, we've got Leroy Virgil from Hellbound Glory. I wasn't that familiar with him until he brought him in. Now I've been listening to him like crazy. But Gary and I have a very similar sound, like what we listen to nowadays. At least he probably always did, but I've geared more toward that like hard 70s rock and roll for my harder music now.
Yeah.
So me and him have a very similar taste, and he's brought a lot of good bands in, man. We were talking last night and got to talk some more today about some of the people we're bringing in. So Loud and Proud Productions, I want to give them a big thank you. Give Gary a big thank you. Adam always running lights for us here. My buddy Nine always hopping up with a mic, getting the crowd pumped up.
That's Nine from the Rise Guys.
Yeah, man, it's funny. Me and Nine joke about it now, but like years ago, I didn't really like the Rise Guys on the radio. I just couldn't get into it, and because Nine was always so angry and stuff, and we laugh about it now. He's like, man, I'm doing better, had surgery, all this stuff, and I'm happy now. And he really is. He's one of the happiest dudes I've ever met.
He really is.
Like he's almost so happy it makes you angry. You're like, God, just be pissed off once in a while, Jimmy.
Yeah, stop being such a nice guy.
Such a nice guy. He could take a nap at Slayer.
Well, he's also up at,
Yeah, no, he works totally different hours than the rest of us.
Yeah. And you guys will be pleased to know he's going to be on a future bonus episode.
Yes.
And
he did, just so everybody knows to go check it out. I think he's putting the audio on the Rise Guys Facebook page. But he did an interview with Justin Clyde the other day that was pretty awesome. I was listening to it. I was sitting in my driveway. And it was like 3 a.m. when they were doing the 28-hour thing. I just got home from here, and I was sitting in my driveway listening to the whole thing. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and then he let me know that there was some shout out to the show and me doing this thing.
Everybody.
I mean, that's pretty great.
Shouted out Andrew Crawford. I just had to say his name on here so he knows that I love him.
Well, I don't bring anybody on the show without throwing my bare bones at him.
Absolutely.
So we'll jump into this.
He's got a book out.
I do got my book out.
All right. Is this a bare bones interview? I got a bare all here.
This is easy stuff, though. This
Okay.
is, this is
You're going to ask the hard questions?
Nah, we keep this pretty simple. What band are you really into right now?
Man, the new Sturgill album is killer.
I love it.
It's not really a new band or obscure band, but man, it's good.
It is so good.
And I wasn't really a huge fan of his stuff before because, I guess I hadn't got into it enough yet. But like with Outlaw stuff, I do like the more upbeat stuff, like Hank Third, Bourbon Crow, and I've gotten to Hellbound Glory now. Like I like that real fast tempo stuff. But that new,
have you listened to Dallas Moore?
No.
You need to listen to Dallas.
A guy I really got into recently too is Paul Cothran.
I love Paul.
The Cocaine Country Dancing.
Oh,
and, that I would say that for. And I've been into him for a couple years now, but I still listen to him all the time on the regular. Fall of an Empire, Cody Eden's band, local guys, actually from Piedmont. That's probably one of the best metal bands around here I've ever heard. Absolutely phenomenal. So I'd say, honestly, right now, I just repeated, like, listening to Sturgill Simpson's new album. And Nine just got us tickets for the show up in Nashville.
That's awesome. Did you watch the movie? The anime?
Not all of it, yeah. I watched half of it.
I
want to come back in the right mindset.
Okay. Yeah, you almost have to be.
Yeah, you got to be in the right mindset to watch it.
Okay, what's your all-time favorite book?
Probably To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
We read that in ninth grade. Bob Jones English.
Pulled pork or brisket, and what kind of sauce?
If it's done right, brisket, and I would say some kind of spicy barbecue sauce. But it's got to be spicy. Normally, I'll just throw extra hot sauce on it myself.
There you go. And we've already talked about your first record, which was that you got was Elton John. What was your first concert?
Funny story about that one. Two of them stand out to me. The first two. You remember when Zach Tyler was running the morning show?
Yeah.
Kimberly and them. My brother actually went to Bob Jones and Kimberly. But anyways, I was like 15 at the time, and I was just starting to get into music, and I liked pretty much anything rock and roll, and they were talking about Bob Jones on The Planet, and I used my landline, called in, talked to him, and they gave me tickets to go see Poison. So my first concert was Poison. Gave me 7 tickets, and only 3 of us went. It was me, my buddy, and some guy we worked with. Took us up there one night in Charlotte, but then the next one they sent me to, they wanted me to be their Bob Jones review guy. The story it's out now, Bob Jones. Now you know who the review guy was. That was me.
I remember that.
So they gave me Ozfest tickets, and that is when I really decided, like, I want to rock for the rest of my life. Because I went to Ozfest. I'm like 15. My parents thought I was at Carowinds. We're there with 2 like dudes we worked with at a farmer's market, and man, we're doing everything under the sun there with random people, finding stuff in cigarette packs on the grounds, girls walking around topless with their titties painted, and and Manson's on stage, like dressed like a priest behind an altar, looking like he's preaching with like the rifle and the pistol, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my God.
There is another world.
Oh, yeah. No, after that, man, I was like, that's where Mudvayne still had their makeup on. Like, first time I saw Black Label. Slipknot was playing early on because they were still small. Even Linkin Park was there and did a good job. Like, never was a fan of their music, but they put on a great show, though. But, yeah, those are my first 2.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
I know I'm a Tribble, but I'd have to say Star Wars. I've just never really got into Star Trek. I guess Star Trek wasn't as violent enough for me. Star Wars had a lot more.
It really does.
Even though Stormtroopers can't hit shit. Stormtroopers shoot like G.I. Joes did on the G.I. Joe cartoons.
Exactly. The Joes always missed, and
Everyone
Cobra always hit.
Everybody just shoot every which way. It's like, God damn, y'all aim once in a while.
Say, I was in the military. I know better training than this. All right. What's your jam song? That one song, it doesn't matter how many times you've heard it. It comes on, you were cranking it up, and you were just getting into
hard
your
rock,
world.
I would say anytime Thunderstruck comes on, you can't help but crank that son of a bitch up.
Okay.
And then if it's slow, I would say it's probably Pink Floyd off the Division Bell album. I've listened to that album over and over and over and over and over.
And I know you're not necessarily an active musician anymore, but if you were, who would be the one person you would want to take the stage with, living or dead?
Oh, like celebrities? Man, probably Dimebag Darrell.
Hell yeah.
There ain't nobody like Dimebag, man.
Nope. Now, do you have a personal mantra?
You goddamn right.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it. I'm going to lob this one up for him.
That's tribute for that's tribute to Juggernaut from back in the day. Mr. Benji Lineberry passed away earlier this year. We revived Nine brought that back at his Ground Zero for memory of his life. Just started saying it out there, and now we've been saying it all the time. You goddamn right.
Well, you got the stickers on the.
It's not a lot of people think it's an irreverent thing. It's supposed to be like some sacrilegious thing. It's not. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's just a lifestyle almost. You know, like you want to do this, you goddamn right I do. You want a shot, you goddamn right.
Exactly. Okay. If you had a spirit animal, what would it be, and why?
I wish my girlfriend was here to answer this one because she's pretty good at pairing animals with people. I don't really know the answer to that one. It'd probably be like a chimpanzee or something because it's just all over the place and just
violent,
randomly violent, but can be super sweet, and then and just chaos. I'm a lot of chaos, man.
I dig it.
My staff and my girlfriend they deal with a lot of shit from me because I'm just like. They're like, what do we do here? I'm like, just figure something out. My girlfriend likes everything to be like listed out, figured out, set in stone. And, you know, it could be complete chaos here behind the scenes. But as long as everybody's having fun, people are buying drinks, and the band's on stage, that's all that matters. Everything else will work itself out.
There you go.
Sweat little stuff, you'll drive yourself crazy.
Fast.
Yep.
Fast. Well, Ken, I appreciate your time today. And I'm so glad we got to get you on the show. I know we've been talking about it for a while.
Hell yeah, man! I enjoyed this.
And you know, this is probably not going to be the last time you come on this show.
Next time you should get me and Justin Clyde and like 9 on here together, and we'll have some hilarity.
We can do it. We can definitely do it. And like I said, the 21st. This episode will actually come out next Wednesday, so it's going to be the day before.
Hell yeah!
So everybody come out Thursday the 21st. You know, there's a whole list out there. This is actually getting donations and everything for the homeless, you know, blankets, food, toilet paper, whatever anybody would need like that, can openers. I mean, it's little small things.
Stuff you don't think about, chapstick.
Yeah, you know, stuff that,
everything.
I mean, even for women, you know, sanitary products.
Yep.
Whatever, you know, if you take for granted, this is something that there's definitely a need for it.
Yeah, reminder of that, too. We're taking all the small items for them. I haven't worked the details out with Justin. I'm assuming they're taking them with them. Hopefully they got a place. They're already working with somebody. But if you want to bring, if you have any hoodies, jackets, gloves, blankets, everybody's got shit laying around the house they don't use or that they were 3 sizes ago. You know, like there's all kinds of crap laying around. I'm still going to take it I was going to do it till the end of October. But now that we put that on there, it just makes sense. So people are still asking me about it. So bring all the little stuff specifically for that, and then anything you've been meaning to bring down, because I know there's a lot of people that message me that still have not done it, or go ahead and just bring stuff down, and we will get it up to Greenville to where they can distribute it to people who need it.
Awesome.
So,
what's the cover for that show that night?
I haven't even set a cover for it. If it's Thursday night, I normally don't do covers on Thursdays, but I will take donations to go toward what they need.
Yeah.
I'll put a suggested donation by the door.
There you go.
And if people want to throw a $5 in. But before we get off here, I want to touch one quick thing.
Okay, please do.
Speaking about $5 at the door, this is something that me and musicians and a lot of us talk about a long time.
I know where you're going. I talk about this all the time with people.
I want people to understand that when venues, like, if it's a charity thing, typically the money's going to the charity for most places. Like Queens to the Rescue when we do that stuff. But, however, we do, if it's just a normal night, we got a $5 cover. The whole purpose behind a bar doing a cover, most bars, I won't speak for all of them, but most bars that do live music all the time, we do that so that the bands are able to get paid what they need to get paid and that we are able to make profit off the alcohol in order to continue keeping the doors open and pay the electric bill, buy the paper towels, buy the cups, buy stuff that you don't even realize that we buy, pay the taxes for stuff that, we got to pay every single year to Anderson County or whatever county you're in, and I got to rent my own stuff I already own, But I just want people to understand that $5 is not so I can make extra money. It's not so anybody can make extra money. It's so the bands can pay for, and a lot of these local bands, original bands, don't make nearly as much as some of the cover bands do.
Yeah.
And they're doing it so they got gas money come out,
food.
That food. It's not all about them drinking and partying. It's they've got to make money to get out here. A lot of these guys are broke musicians, you know, and we got to make sure they're coming from Alabama or North Carolina. They got to have gas money to get back, and we got to have money to keep the doors open. So when we ask somebody to pay a $5 cover, it's not so we can scrape money off every head coming in the door. It's so money goes specifically to the bands, and we can keep the doors open and keep a venue where people, and this goes for any venue can keep the doors open. And because I go places sometimes and people will be like, "Oh, don't worry, man, I'll slide you in." I'm like, "Nah, I want to pay the cover. I want to take care of the bands." Because really, Greg Payne taught me this one. If somebody ever comes to you and says, "Hey, can I slide you in?" He said one time he took money out of his own pocket and handed it to somebody and said, "Here, I'll give you the $5 or whatever." And that's when it connects for him. It's like, "Oh, I'm taking this out of my friend's pocket."
Literally.
I'm literally, that's like, people ask for free shirts from the bands or this or that. Like, me and a lot of the bands, we'll trade merch, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
But I never just want to ask, be like, "Hey, man, can I get a free shirt?" It's free advertising. No, the fuck it isn't.
No. Somebody had to pay for it.
Some little kid in China made that T-shirt, and they got to get paid, so we got to pay, so everybody's got to pay. But anyway, that was a side note. I want to hit on that since we were talking about covers.
Well, and that's something that I've talked with everybody about, because that, especially the local guys, because, I'm friends with all these guys too. And I used to do work door, and bounce and everything. Nothing would irritate me more than somebody come up when I'm friends with the band. I'm like, well, if you're friends with the band, your biggest priority should
to
be
take care of the band.
Don't tell me you're out here to support the band when you're not going to pony up $5 to see that band that you're friends with.
I did the $5 thing to somebody here one time, and he has since apologized for it and realized. And every time he sees me, he's like, "Man, you taught me a lesson there." And but when I gave him the $5 out of my pocket, I said, "Here, take care of your cover with that." I said, "Are you gonna buy me a shot?" He said, "Yeah, man, I'll buy you a shot." I was like, "That's the same price." Because people won't want to pay $5, but they'll buy the whole band a shot.
Yeah.
And end up spending $30 or more to buy the whole band around. When really, if you want to just give the band $30, give them $30, and they'll put it toward good use.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll buy some new strings or new drumsticks or something with it.
And I think that goes over so many people.
It does, because they'll go like that new Sturgill album, the show we're going to see. The tickets are probably over $100. And I'll gladly pay it to go see it because I want to see it, and he's earned that.
Yeah.
But you'll pay to go see somebody that will never meet you, never take the time to talk to you. People go pay $80 to see somewhere over across town and see REO Speedwagon or something like that, and it's like
there's the same ones that want to bitch about playing $5.
And they won't. And I try to keep them all at $5. Sometimes I got to do $10 depending on the show.
Yeah, because different bands cost more.
Demand. And sometimes, honestly, the bands actually set the price, or the bands. People need to realize too. Sometimes the bands just agree we're taking the door.
Yeah.
So they take the door, and I take the alcohol sales, and that's how they get paid. So if you skip out on it, you're literally taking $5 from the band.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I appreciate you letting me get that out.
No, and you're, as a venue owner, that needs to be out there too, because it's not just me and musicians bitching about this. This is a venue telling you the same damn thing we've been trying to get across.
Right.
Is take care. So if you truly support local music, then support local
I'm
music.
a filthy rich club owner, though, Like, I'm
yeah.
filthy rich. I probably got 8 cars, 6
Yeah.
houses, I sell a beer for $3. I made $5 off of it.
Yeah.
But,
and that is a misconception. If somebody has never worked in a music venue or the bar industry, I mean, I've bartended. I know what it's like that, if people don't tip, and that's another thing, tip your waiters and waitresses.
Oh, yeah, man.
And your bartenders. Take care of those folks, because guess what? That is, you're like, well, they got to, no, they're making $2 an hour. I mean, some places pay a little better.
People tell bartenders and waitresses and people to get a real job. First of all, somebody's got to do that job.
Yep.
And second of all, like, a lot of single moms and stuff like that, it works for them. Like, the hours,
Yep.
I mean, they can't get a better job because they don't have the experience or the college degree. But, if people take care of their staff, the wait staff, then they can actually do pretty well for themselves.
They can.
So, and I guarantee you the people that tell them to get a real job have never worked as hard as a bartender does on a full show night somewhere, anywhere, any bar, any club, any style. But
oh yeah, you're going to run if your feet kill you, your back's killing you, and then once you got everybody out, then you still got to clean the place.
Yeah, that's when you sit down for a second and you're just like, God damn, and then you realize, like,
you get your shift drink and you light a cigarette and you're like, okay.
A lot of times staff doesn't leave until 2 hours after or later after the last patron stumbles out the door.
Yeah.
So it's it's stuff people don't think about unless they've been there.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess it all gets down to just don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick, man. Like you'll stop buy a pack of cigarettes. You'll buy candy bars at the gas station. You'll spend $15-$20, no problem whatsoever, to some corporate place. But you'll come to your local bar and beg for a free shot or a free shirt or get in the door for free. And I'm not saying all this just for me; it's for everybody, man. Like, me and my buddy Andrew Brown over at Golden Grove Brewery, right down the road. We talk about this stuff all the time. Like people just. I watched a guy on a local music page, and this is among musicians of all people, like talking about clubs and how much they pay out. And he was like telling, and musicians are always talking about like, we got to get strings, we got to get chords, all this money we got to spend.
Yeah,
and it's 100% true. But he was arguing with one of the venue owners, Andrew, about you've got your alcohol costs and this, and then everything else is profit. And Andrew was listing it out. He's like, insurance, paper towels, like your Sam's trip, your Restaurant Depot trips, your this, that, and just every insurance is unreal for bars now.
Oh, yeah.
And they keep changing the laws, making it worse on us. And your liquor license, I got to get mine renewed at the end of this month, actually. So, like, all this money that we got to pay in order to just keep paying taxes. I got to pay my liquor license just to the government just so I can pay more money to the government,
Right.
But, yeah, people just don't realize the cost. And these are probably people who may even own their own businesses like landscaping or something, and they know the cost of their business, but they think ours is all profit.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, man, I won't keep ragging on about it.
That's all right.
You got me on a hot spot, passionate moment.
No, I'm the same way. I get passionate.
And I'm not saying it all for me, like, come spend money at me. And
you're just meaning
in general, man.
In
general, like everywhere we go, we try to tip well. We try to make sure the waitresses are taken care of. If we don't have the money to go tip that day, then I'm not going to go out and eat.
Exactly.
Exactly. If you don't want to tip, go to McDonald's. And people are like, well, they don't tip in Europe. Well, that's fucking Europe, too. So.
Yeah. They also have a standard higher wage.
In 1776, we stopped caring about that, goddammit.
Right on. Well, that's probably a good one note to end on.
Yep.
Kynn, thank you so much. I appreciate this. And folks, come out, support local music.
You goddamn right.
Support your local dive bar that you can have fun at. And, just get out there, be a decent person. And, there's nothing more can be said. So, folks, look forward to this one. And we'll be having some more bonus episodes with some other great people that we know out and about and around. And We appreciate you, and thanks for coming on.
Fill my cup.